Introduction to this episode.
I am sweating from doing the jig to that song. That song is awesome.
Oh, okay. So, this episode is with hilarious comedian Pete Johansson.
Or Pete Johansson.
Pete Johansson.
Whichever way you want to say it.
He's coming to us this episode from the French Alps.
Yes. Just in the French Alps, hanging out.
How fucking great is Skype?
It's amazing.
We get to talk to one of our favorite guests and friends, Pete Johansson from the fucking French Alps, and we're in Minnesota.
Right? I know, it's crazy.
It is. It's beautiful. And he really is one of our favorite guests. I fucking love talking to that dude.
Yeah, he's so super smart and super genuine and just funny and just like, it's super easy just to have a conversation with him.
He's a goddamn sweetheart.
He
really is. And he is legitimately funny. I laugh every time we talk to him.
And knows so many things too, which is cool.
Yeah, he's smart as a whip.
He's going back to school, which is great.
I know. Yeah.
Learn some more shit.
Yeah, we talk about that. We talk about a random bunch of things. It's a good time. So, look forward to that shit. And we got to thank our sponsors for this episode. Comics Watching Comics.
Yes, hosted by the CEO, Kevin Goatee.
Motherfucking CEO.
Seasons 1 through 5 are on Amazon Prime Video right now.
Yes, your favorite TV show.
Yes. Season 7 and 8 are coming soon.
Mm-hmm. And thank you to our sponsor, the Sportsbook Box Office Podcast.
Hosted by Kevin Goatee and Jeffrey Paul.
2 New York comedians talking movies, sports, all that good shit. Check that out. They're on all the podcast streaming apps. Find them everywhere.
All of them. All the places you can find them.
All right. This little Jimmy Jam we're jamming out to here in the intro is by Mystery Mammal. It's called Bigger Than This. It's a beautiful little Irish jig type thing we got going on.
I dig it.
I dig it too. All right. Let's do this with Pete Johansson.
Now, tonight's adventure into the unknown.
Shut up and sit down.
Hey, fuckers.
Hello.
We are back at it again.
We're back.
We just can't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop.
And we, speaking of being back at it again, we have one of our favorite guests making his triumphant return to the show.
Yes.
Who we got, Frenzy?
We have comedian Pete Johansson. What's up, Pete?
Johansson.
Oh, shit.
Did you say Johansson?
Okay.
I did.
I
was doing it on...
changed it right now.
I was
going to say, I've never heard anyone say it Johansson.
I was going to say, is that part of your, like, how you like to say words differently wrong?
No, actually, that's how it's pronounced in Europe. So everybody over here says Pete Johansson.
Johansson.
In North America, it's all Johansson. So,
that's funny.
But I'm in Europe, so...
Okay, so Pete Johansson, since you're in the French Alps right now.
So, how is it actually pronounced? Like...
it's a Swedish last name, and in Sweden they don't pronounce J's; they're pronounced as yeah.
What do they have?
So it is technically Johansson.
What are the Swedish?
Since I'm North American, we all say J's as J. So in North America, it's Johansson. We're both right.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
I love that you can pronounce your name 2 different ways and it's right both times. It's pretty cool.
What do the Swedish have against the word J? Or the letter J, I mean. We're pronouncing it.
I don't know.
They just have a different alphabet.
They're just like, nope. We refuse to recognize the J.
And J in German is Jot. They pronounce, like, if you say the alphabet, it's like Abe Sede AFG El Amenape, and then it's Yot is like J.
So how would they say like yawn? How would
I have no idea.
Yawn is when they say like, oh, I'm yawning. Is that what they
Oh,
say?
it's still yawn.
Jawning.
Yawning.
No.
Yawning.
I'm yawning. I'm yawning. I'm yawning and I'm talking. Bjorn over there is yawning. I don't know. I know that the French don't pronounce H's, yet they still use them. That's weird.
That is weird.
Well, with Spanish too, when they say they don't say their J's either. That's like a Y, like Juan. It's not Juan. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
so,
exactly. Yeah, the Spanish do too.
Yeah,
because they're kind of still connected to the Europe with that weird language of Spanish.
Yeah,
whereas we all speak American.
It's either got like a Y sound to it, like Juan. With Juan, they basically just omit the J completely, and they just.
I wonder
go
how
with the
you
UAN.
could spell the actual sounding John. Like what combination of letters you'd have to do to get them to make that noise?
Well,
probably a bunch of G's together with a K in them.
Well, that's the thing, because like when you say Jose, the J has an H sound, and I always would get a kick when I've worked in the past with from coworkers from like say like El Salvador or Mexico, any Spanish speaking country, and texting with them was always funny. Like I would say something funny in a text, and they would respond with, we say ha ha ha, H-A, and
yeah.
they say J-A. That's how they actually text it out to you. And the first time I got that, I was like, what is this? Ja. And I'm like, oh, they're saying ha ha ha. It's
the first thing I'd do if I took over the world. And you watch me. I'm Trump 2, right?
Okay.
I'll be Trump 2.
Yeah.
Is I'm going to introduce metric letters. So I'd take our alphabet of 26 and I'd lower it to 10 letters. There are only 10 that we need.
Oh my God.
Right? And they'd all have
it.
a nice hard sound to them, and we don't need all the vowels. We only need O and A and E. So 3 vowels.
3 vowels.
And then make R, S, T, L, and N. Boom. That's their entire language.
Oh,
Everybody can learn it. Problem solved.
Could that work? It'd be a very.
I don't want to hear arguments. I just want to implement it.
It sounds like it'd be a very guttural sounding language with such small selection of letters.
Oh, you're overthinking this, man.
It'd be like grunts and stuff.
I'm just trying to make the world an easier place for dumber people. All right? You got 10 letters. Everybody's going to feel like an eloquent fucking Shakespeare.
Listen, I love the idea of simplifying things because over here in the U.S., it seems like we are constantly trying to complicate things that do not need to be complicated.
Too many choices for products.
Yeah.
Not enough choices for
That's true.
Politics.
Yeah, what's with that? There's complete opposites.
Have you seen
You
how
get
many
2 choices?
Oreo
Breakfast
options
cereals?
there are at the grocery store? Oreo flavors.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
Red Hot. There's basically a whole aisle dedicated just to Oreo flavors.
Yeah, Oreos.
Oreo cookies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
many.
ridiculous.
Just do double
Ridiculous.
stuff, regular, you're good.
You think of any kind of flavored filling, any filling, and I bet you they've done it. Some variation.
Oh yeah, and they've done, the cookie itself isn't the chocolate, it's the golden vanilla
It's like a
cookie.
chicken.
It's like it feels like a kid struggling in school to be popular.
Right.
It does seem like that. Like they've been desperately.
Please
I'm not
like
going to make it to graduation.
Remember
I'm gonna
us?
kill myself.
Remember us from your childhood? We're still
fuck.
around.
Here comes Oreo again. Oh, Jesus.
That dude's a train wreck.
Oh, Oreo. Come on, man. Just stop it.
We get it.
Yeah, there needs to be an intervention. Like, just coming to talk to Oreo and go, man, just be yourself.
Yeah.
All right? Nobody's going to like you. Orange-flavored mint bullshit.
Yeah, Hydrox has been the same forever. They just have the one flavor, and they're still around.
Oh, fuck. You pulled out Hydrox.
Forgot
Yeah.
about
This is
that.
a competition.
Heck yeah.
Jesus. You only hear
so
that from
weird.
grandparents.
Yeah.
That's because my
not-
parents
that's not a
were
word that's
cheap,
even uttered
and
by-
my parents were cheap, and they wouldn't even buy us real Oreos, so we had Hydrox.
That's amazing that they're still around, especially with a very unfortunate name like Hydrox.
Yeah,
When you
sounds
think
like
of
a chemical.
you think of something you clean your countertops with, not put in your mouth.
Right? That's exactly what it sounds like. Yeah.
It's
when
like
there's a Hydrox spill on the highway, should we keep our kids inside? That sounds so dangerous.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Didn't Jason and the Argonauts face a Hydrox?
Yeah, right?
That's also Greek mythology, too.
That's probably where it came from. It probably came from, like, cool, noble
There's
origins.
probably a more popular monster, but that was the knockoff brand that Ovid put into his, or Homer put into his novel, because he couldn't afford the other one.
Yep.
Yeah.
The backup.
I went too far with that.
The Iliad.
Clearly, I'm under the influence of something.
Hydrox.
Do we have a topic?
Where?
About
so you're. That's what we do. We go down random paths. Sometimes.
Do you know what? Do you know what they call cookies here in England, or not here in England because I'm in France, but when I was in England, they call them fucking biscuits.
Yeah, that's weird.
I was gonna say that was gonna be my guess.
Ludicrous.
Biscuits.
All kinds of cookies are called biscuits, whether they're
all cookies and all desserts. Get this. Hold on to something. Are you holding on to something?
Yes, the table.
All their desserts are called pudding.
What?
Yeah, I'm not fucking with you.
Even cake?
Every dessert. Like you bring out, hey, I'm going to get some pumpkin pie. Oh, I'll have some pudding too. What the fuck are you talking about?
How can you? Yeah.
So what is pudding over there? Actual pudding.
Also, they don't eat pumpkin pie.
Yeah, probably not.
What's actual pudding over there?
Like actual pudding is custard.
Okay. That makes sense.
Weird.
But that is weird, though, that everything is pudding. How do you differentiate? Like, if you want a specific...
They don't have Jell-O pudding here for some reason. I don't think that really caught on.
Well, but if you want a specific dessert, how do you just express that? If you're just saying, I want some pudding, but you actually want, you want chocolate cake. You don't want, fucking ice cream.
The waiter would come by the table and go, do you care for any pudding? And then you go, oh, I'd like some chocolate cake. And they go, oh, fine pudding choice.
See, that's a
it sounds wrong.
There's a problem with
every North American sensibility I have. And
right there,
bring that to me on an aluminium fork, please.
Aluminium fork. Yeah, English food. I mean, you moved to the UK 2008, right?
Yeah, I did. That's weird. Yeah,
that's weird. So 10 years ago.
Yeah, but I live in Toronto now. I'm just over here visiting. I moved back. I knew I could feel Brexit coming. I knew.
You knew?
Yeah, the English were kind of getting less excited about every foreign accent they heard on the street. I was like, I should get out of here soon. I would have left Germany in 31. I think I know. I picked up on
saw it coming.
I left U.S. just before, after. Well, actually, I left U.S. after they re-elected Bush. I was like, no, you can't. Once he steals it, fine. Second time, fuck you.
Yeah, you're a little late on that. You're a little late on that one, though. You should have smelled that coming back in 92.
But I will say this: it was an interesting place to be for 9/11. Living in the U.S. was I was living in L.A. I remember how funny L.A. was. Like, we're next.
I was living in L.A. too. Yeah, I was there.
They're going to fly a plane into the Hollywood sign.
Yeah, I remember that going around. It's so weird.
The dumbest terrorists in the world.
People are just sitting in the fetal position, not going anywhere.
That'll show those dirty Americans will smash into their precious sign.
Oh yeah,
that shit's leftover marketing. That Hollywood sign, remember where that came from? It's from a housing development that just stayed around.
It was a nuclear testing site, and then they kept the sign.
It used to have. It used to say Hollywood Land too. They took down land.
Yeah, I think it was originally some housing development that went up, decades ago, and that's what it was called. It was called Hollywood. That little development.
I used to live up that area, Beechwood Canyon. You would go straight up Beechwood Canyon. That's where it ends at the Hollywood sign. That was a neat little area. I used to love it. I ran into Russell Crowe walking home to his house up the street, hammered one night.
Oh, that's awesome.
He was trying to fight me, and I was just trying to help him.
Yes, I was hoping. Russell Crowe, he seems like one of those dudes that is always he's always down to fight. Just give me a reason.
This is a long time ago, I think, back when I think he's cleaned himself up now, but he was definitely a malignant. Is that a word, malignant? It's a word now. He was a malignant turd.
What was he? Was he drunk too? Was he stumbling around or what?
Oh, I wasn't drunk at all. He was hammered.
Oh,
he was walking up the middle of the street. He was weaving back and forth, trying to maintain himself. So I'm like, "Are you okay, man? Do you need some help? Do you want me to call you?" Fuck you! What's your fucking problem? Whoa!
Just angry. And malignant in the Urban Dictionary is the definition is a lower Midwest slang contraction of being malignant and ignorant all at the same time.
I think that suits him to a certain degree.
Yeah,
I don't
make that work.
You know what? I don't want to judge him. I don't want to judge him.
No judging.
I know. He walked through that neighborhood and he didn't become a Scientologist, so he can't be that bad.
There you go. He still had some of his wits about him. He was not he's not so drunk that he signed up for Scientology.
I got to give some of the Aussies credit. I mean, Nicole Kidman avoided it too, and she was married to King of Scientology.
Right.
Like the Aussies and
true.
I mean, I guess L. Ron Hubbard seems pretty fucking crazy to oceanic people. That's all I can say.
How would that even work? How is she able to be married to Tom Cruise for so long? He's literally like the czar of Scientology.
Yeah.
And how could she be married to him for so long and have children? They had children, didn't they? Together,
yeah,
they
but
adopt.
I always imagine them having kids by him like holding a handful of his semen and throwing it across the room at her own vagina.
Yeah, he had to spill the blood of 12 babies just to make that one baby.
Yeah,
but
I can't see him getting close enough to like call. I don't know. There's something weird about that.
Which is amazing.
You ever see that scene in The Silence of the Lambs where she's walking by the cell next to Hannibal Lecter's and the guy throws the semen on her as she walks by?
What was that? I don't remember that. I remember something being thrown. I didn't know he was throwing jizz on her.
That was jizz. That's why it's all over her face. And that's the first jizz facial in a movie in mainstream America in the history of the world, by the way.
So that's
you
where
don't see that anywhere else.
That's the evolution of
Jodie
man.
Foster's face, and she's covered in jizz, and she wipes it off.
That's awesome.
But that's, I think, what Cruise would do. Kind of like he'd just throw it at her, like they'd sort of arrange it, and they'd be walking by each other and just and then run. Like I can't see him getting closer.
Yeah,
I don't know. I wonder if this is slanderous. No, this is hypothetical.
It's hypothetical.
We're fine.
Yes.
Allegedly.
Every 10 minutes.
It amazes me that they could be married that long, though, and that she didn't accept Scientology. What was it like living in that household when you have the czar of Scientology as your husband?
I bet she got cramps from all the eye rolling. Oh yeah, all powerful one.
Well, did Katie Holmes? Did she turn Scientologist?
I don't know.
No, she's Catholic.
Now she's.
They tried to get her to go Scientology, and she wouldn't go either.
And now
I guess that's the flaw.
Now she's dating Jamie Foxx.
Really?
Yep.
The guy Klinger from MASH.
No, the black guy.
No, it's Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx.
Who am I thinking of?
I don't know.
Ray Charles.
Klinger from MASH.
Who plays Klinger on MASH? Isn't it Jamie Foxx?
No.
Jamie Foxx would have been like 10.
Who was Klinger on MASH then? I thought his name was Jamie Foxx.
Maybe it was. That
she
sounds
could
like
be better than that.
Maxwell Klinger was the character.
Wow.
And his name was Jamie Farr, Farr.
Jamie Farr. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was close though, and thank God, hey.
Yeah.
Although, what an interesting story if she had ended up with him.
Yeah.
I made a bold choice. Really sending a message that looks don't matter.
He's got a really good personality.
Yeah, absolutely. And interestingly enough, he was the first mainstream cross-dresser.
Yes, he was. Yeah, he worked. Yeah. He was a drag guy. Yep.
It's so weird if you watch those out of episodes and Klinger is pining over a girl, and you're like, really? Come on, man.
It's just because he wanted to borrow her
clothes. You can drop the front for us.
Yeah.
How long did that show go on? How many seasons?
How long was MASH on for?
Yeah. And did it, because it was during the Vietnam War, right?
Correct.
No, it's long after the Vietnam War. It took place during the Korean War. And then it was aired on TV from like 74 to 81, I think.
72 to 83.
But the setting was the Korean
Pretty
War?
good guess for not
That is a
looking
good
at
guess.
anything.
Yeah.
The setting was
You know?
Korea, it wasn't Vietnam?
The Korean War, not
Yeah,
the
it was.
Vietnam War.
It was based off of a novel about 3 army doctors by Richard Hooker.
That's why they had so much
Well,
time.
and originally a movie by
Yep.
Robert Altman.
Yep, and it was during the Korean
Yeah.
War.
Why did he... Well, so how long did the course
The
of
movie's
time...
great, by the way.
I haven't seen the movie. I would be interested
The
in seeing that.
movie's absolutely fantastic. Donald Sutherland and
What?
that other
MASH
guy that stars in it.
Huh.
But it's really good. Really quite dirty, too. A lot of nudity and a lot of dark shit. You know?
Interesting.
Like this one guy's going to kill himself, this dentist, and it turns out he's got a giant cock.
What?
And so they send this girl, and he can't get it hard, so he's depressed. And then they send this hot girl in his coffin, and she fucks him in a coffin. It's like, so he's happy the next day. It's like just such a weird offshoot story in the middle of it. You're like, what?
So random. Oh, that's so funny. It was so there's 11 seasons of MASH, and it was produced in obviously Los Angeles, but Malibu Creek State Park. I've been there hiking a bunch of times. That's crazy. I wish I would have known that when I was there.
The old Paramount Ranch, if you go out there, because I shot a movie that had some scenes shot there, you can see the old sets where it used to be. They still have them roughly. Like, they don't have the tents or anything, but you can still see the circles where the landing pad and everything were.
Super
kinda
cool.
neat.
That is neat.
And it's also interesting because it was on the air for, 11 years or something like that, and the Korean War only lasted 3 years.
Yep.
So it was like 7 years longer than the Korean War.
Yeah, Korean War was like 50 to 53. And then the show was on.
It must have been the time period, for the show must have been just over those 3 years. Like 3 seasons might have been in a year of time during the Korean War for the way they had it set up.
It really did make it feel longer, though. I remember watching those all the time.
256 episodes.
Damn.
Yeah. Like after school when I'd come home, it was on constant reruns.
Yeah, I remember that too.
So maybe the war ended and they just stayed. They're like, we're good. We're just going to keep doing this.
Good.
And the final episode of MASH was one of the highest rated television shows in history. I think when you account for viewership and percentage of people that had access to it, I think it might still be the highest rated show ever. And in the finale, Hawkeye has a mental breakdown because they're being hunted by the North Koreans, and he tells this woman to shut the chicken down, stop the chicken from making noise, so she kills the chicken, right? So the entire episode is him dealing with that. And then in the final scene, you find out it wasn't a chicken. It was a baby, and she killed her baby to stop it from crying.
Oh,
like,
jeez.
What?
I didn't... shit, that's dark.
The
83
finale that it was directed by Alan Alda had 105.9 million viewers, but the most watched series finale ever, not series, but ever most watched television event ever was the 2010 Super Bowl with 106, so barely beat it, which isn't even, it doesn't count. It's not an episode, but
nobody smothered a baby at that Super Bowl.
Right?
Speaking of
that we know of.
Speaking of smothering babies, did you guys hear about this Cincinnati woman who was admitted to the hospital because she had a 14-month-old toddler that got stuck in her vagina?
What? There is no way.
That's not
okay.
possible.
This here's the headline is. This is from. What is this from?
Okay,
let's
start with the source.
Yes, it's always a good idea. This is from World News Daily Report. World News Daily Report
is not a real news source.
Is this a fake one?
Yeah, it's fake.
Oh no,
that's fake news.
Yeah, it's fake.
Damn it!
There's no way.
All the Russians ever wanted was for you to believe that there was a kid trapped in a girl's vagina at 14 months.
You look at
Russia wins
the
again,
photo,
my friend.
You look at the photo of this woman, and you would, I believed it just based on the photo of the lady. I was like, yeah, that seems possible.
Does she have like a foot pushing out her face?
She is a very large woman. Let's just say that. Very large.
Oh, you can't say that, man. You're going to get letters now. You got to say, my eyes can't tell her size.
You need glasses.
I'm oblivious to her size.
I have learned in the last 4 days.
It's a fact. She's a very large woman.
Okay.
I'm not shaming her
if you
for
want
it.
to talk news today,
Yes.
if you want to seriously talk real news today, fucking Russia, man. Whoa.
What
How's
Russia
that
do?
for news?
What they do now?
Okay. So this, the two people poisoned with nerve gas in London 4 days ago. The nerve gas traced back specifically to a Russian batch. Theresa May comes out, says that Russia is almost certainly involved, and they're going to act retaliation-wise. They find another Russian dead in his room in London about 7 hours ago. Rex Tillerson comes on the press, says Russia's involved. Trump fires him 4 hours later.
What?
Okay, but what does that mean? Russia is involved.
Putin ordered the assassination of these guys. Now, and I'm not much of a conspiracy theorist, but this is fucking blowing up huge. Like, Russia's just extrajudiciously killing people outside of their country. They're doing what they used to do inside their own country for the last 10 years everywhere now. There's a guy in New York 3 months ago in the Russian embassy that they found dead, that they reported as a heart attack, but he'd fallen 8 floors to his death.
His heart gave out and then he fell.
Yeah.
Putin's a beast. He's a beast of a man. He's
beast, but why are they closing all these loops right now? And that makes me wonder, because the guy that was poisoned with nerve gas set up the meeting in Mauritius of the lawyer that brokered the Paul Manafort's introduction into the Trump campaign. So I'm just wondering if they're just closing a lot of loose ends right now, just so that nothing can come of things. It seems sketchy. I don't know. I don't know how much of anything is real, but why is he killing all these people now and taking such a huge risk at pissing off the world?
Does he really care if the world's pissed off? Honestly,
yeah. It affects him financially and power-wise.
Right.
The U.S. As much as you want to discount everybody else, if the whole world's pissed off at Russia, they're not going to have a good time. They can't possibly want that, and they're moving towards it rapidly.
And the Prime Minister of Britain on yesterday said that it was highly likely that the Russian government was responsible for attacking that former Russian military intelligence officer and one-time double agent.
So these are like spies that died from this nerve gas? These are...
Yeah, but they did it in public again, like they did with Litvinenko 5 years ago or 6 years ago.
Who's a gangster?
Nerve gas is... There's a police officer that's in critical condition because he went to treat these two. So civilians... is really sick because they did a fucking shitty thing. And last time when Litvinenko, when they used polonium to radioactive polonium, it cost like $60 million to clean up the radioactive mess in central London. So, Russia's being a real dick about this,
Were the two that were poisoned, was it a guy and his daughter? Are those the two?
It was the guy and his daughter, but get this, his wife died suspiciously 6 months before that, and I think it was his son that died too, so they killed his entire family. Wow. It wasn't just him. They were sending a message.
Yeah, well, you can't have anybody left to exact revenge years later. You gotta kill them all.
Yeah, what is that, Kubla Khan or something like that?
That's how they do in the movies.
What was that? It was some movie where I saw.
Oh yeah,
it's gotta kill the kids too.
It's in like every movie.
Is it the hero's journey, like in Joseph Campbell's sort of archetype of the hero?
Yes,
the son. It's Conan the Barbarian too. Yeah, they let the kid live. Conan comes back. Yeah, you're right.
It's in every fucking many movies, many movies. That's the mafia shit. Putin
gotta make sure you kill the kid.
Putin is like old school Russian mafia. He's a mafioso type dude. He's just a gangster.
I think you should bring back. They should be more like the Italian mafia. They
pretty much. The only difference is that they're not in Italy. He's Russian.
Didn't the Italian mafia never kill family, though? It was always...
Right, they didn't kill family. They also didn't use nerve gas.
No, I'm sure they killed family.
I guess...
It's a different day.
Michael Corleone was
Fredo. Got Tommy guns
anymore. If they had nerve gas, do you think they wouldn't have used it?
Yes.
Yeah,
definitely.
Probably.
And I'm pretty sure the old school mafia dudes killed family members.
Cosa Nostra killed family members, you think? The Sicilian mafia?
They all do. Don't give a fuck. There's basic rules that they live by, but that shit it's not like it's ironclad. Like, I've got to follow the rules.
Obviously, they're gonna mess up.
That's like back when in colonial times when the red coats and the blue coats are shooting each other and you all stand in formation and you take turns firing at each other. Like, we gotta play war by the rules.
Did they take turns?
Pretty much.
I did not know that.
Before guerrilla warfare became a thing, a very logical way of fighting wars. You remember that shit? You were there. We were all there. We've seen the movies.
Oh yeah.
But how the British,
like
the British and the French and shit during World War I, is as early as World War I, they were still fighting that way.
Yeah.
But they would march in formation.
Trench warfare in World War One.
Yeah, they marched.
The Crimean War is what changed everything. That's when they went to modern warfare.
No, is that no? Not World War One. Like the fucking what was that war called?
The Revolutionary War.
The Revolutionary War. Yes. Yeah. I always have to have a title for the war.
Oh.
But
that's where they perfected amputations. Yeah.
But they would be marching in formation, and when they were ready to fire on somebody, the guys in the front of the formation would all get down to one knee, and the guys behind them would be standing, and they would just take turns firing, and then you got to reload. You only get to fire one shot. So the first
you could have one. So back in the Revolutionary War, let's say back then, you could have had one guy in a window in a Vegas hotel take out the entire fucking branch.
Oh yeah, you could have one guy standing off to the side take out the whole formation. You don't even need to be real stealthy about it.
So you're saying some fucking loser could have won the war?
Just one dude.
One NRA douchebag.
Hey, look at Mel Gibson did it. Win. Mel Gibson did it in The Patriot.
Oh, don't you love how they gave credit? There's 3 movies that take credit for the long horse spear too, like the pike. And Braveheart, they're like, oh, we're going to do this. That was invented in Switzerland in the 8th century.
Really?
But I've seen 5 movies where let me show you how, and they act like they invent the fucking horse spike. I don't know why.
Last of the Mohicans part of that too?
Where they stick the spike in the ground and the horses run into it?
Yeah.
That thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did that in Brave. They did that in 3 Mel Gibson movies, I think. Braveheart.
Was it Ransom? They did.
Yeah, Ransom.
And,
it's in all his movies.
What Women Want.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure he did it in Lethal Weapon 2.
Maybe the first one.
That would be a great scene in What Women Want. Just carve some pikes for the horses.
Oh, shit.
That's funny.
He's made a good comeback. I got to give Mel credit for fucking polishing a turd of a life.
He's definitely never going to be the Mel Gibson that we all know and love from the 90s.
No, I don't think we'll ever have him as the wisecracking comedy guy.
No. After Passion of the Christ, he kind of yeah.
Well, yeah, he's got weird, and he's just not he's just not the same dude. He's like this. You can tell life has worn that fucking dude down. You can see it in his face. Life has
alcohol. I think alcohol really affected him. Seems like he pickled his brain with booze there.
Yeah,
alcohol.
He was drinking a lot.
Well, alcohol and racism will do that to you.
Yeah, I think you get dumber from the alcohol, and it makes you a bit racist and conspiracy oriented. Yeah.
You lose your wits.
Yeah. I think weed's the only thing that kind of keeps you funny throughout life.
Right.
But I think booze long term depresses everybody's sort of outlook.
Yeah, that's what Mel Gibson needed. The guy needed to smoke weed.
Yeah, right. Talk about a guy that should have hit the bomb.
I know.
He'd be a totally different actor.
Totally different guy. I could have seen him like turning to doing more like comedic movies. Watch him switch from like these badass action movies and like dramatic movies to suddenly he's like this hilarious comedic actor. He's just stoned all the time.
Did wonders for Woody Harrelson.
Oh,
Right?
Yeah, good point. Woody Harrelson is one of my favorite actors in like the second half of his life and his career.
Exactly. Yeah, when he walks on a screen nowadays, I'm like, oh, good, Woody Harrelson's in
Fuck
it.
yeah, you
But
cannot
I
help but
never
love
felt
that dude.
at the beginning of his career.
No.
Yeah.
Like on Cheers?
Yeah,
Cheers is kind of it. But you know what movie I thought he was horrible in was the movie doesn't even make sense anymore because everybody would do it. The one where Robert Redford offers his wife like $1 million.
Oh,
Yeah.
Indecent Proposal?
What the fuck is this?
What was that?
It's not even indecent now. It's like that's a common proposal. Like I don't think anybody would even flinch with that. But,
Back then when it came out,
yeah,
though, it was like whoa.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
yeah.
That was a weird one.
I'd pay Robert Redford like $100 to fuck my wife, and I'd jerk off and watch.
Robert Redford back then,
or
Robert Redford back then, or Robert Redford now at like 85 or whatever.
Oh, well, okay. Well, that's okay. Way to find the flaw in it.
I'd pick
we have
Paul
to go
Newman.
back pretty far in time. Free the natural. It's gotta
Free
be
the
before
natural.
The natural.
Yeah.
You wanna see Cool Hand Luke fuck your wife, Frenzy? Is that what you're saying?
I said I would pick Paul Newman. Yeah, Cool Hand Luke for sure.
Okay. But here's the problem why this will never happen.
Why?
I'm really revealing a flaw in my wife. She would fuck a guy for sure, no problem if I suggested it. But they're not either of those two because they're both too short.
Oh.
Are they
She
really
is
short?
the most. She has no interest in anybody that's short. I ridicule her this for all the time, but she has a problem with anybody under like 5'6", and both those guys are like short.
Paul Newman's 5'10". Robert Redford's
What?
5'10".
Oh,
Steve McQueen's
Oh,
5'10".
not bad.
I think that's fake. I don't think those are the right numbers.
It's very possible. Very possible.
Because
Yeah,
they
definitely.
artificially heightened all those old actors.
Yeah. And they shrink too when they get older.
It's
so
amazing
is it
how many short people are in, entertainment.
Oh my
so
God.
many.
When I lived there, it felt like being in Japan.
Yeah.
I was like a giant.
Shine. How tall are you?
I'm 6'4".
Okay.
So
damn.
It was I couldn't. I mean, I was ridiculous. The roles I'd go out to, and I mean, like the people I'd be working against. I was the tallest person everywhere I went. The only actor I ever met that was my height was Vince Vaughn and Clint Eastwood.
Okay.
Those are the only two people that were my height.
Yeah, it's crazy because they do a good job of hiding it. When you see TV shows or movies or whatnot with these short actors and actresses, and they do a very good job of hiding it. You usually have no idea.
Yeah, and it's more so the men than the women because
it's
no one
okay
wants
for-
a giant woman usually.
Like the cast of what was that weird show on HBO with all the Hollywood hangout guys?
Entourage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the lead guy in that literally comes up to my belly button.
Shut up. Really?
Who's that?
Yeah, the manager guy. The guy that
Ari.
manages
He
the-
plays Ari. It's
Is that Sean Astin?
no, it's his character's
He
name
looks
is
like
Ari.
Sean Astin. You're right.
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck
Oh
is
no,
his
that
name?
guy that you're talking
He
about.
looks
Okay.
like...
Kevin Connolly.
Yes, Kevin Conner.
Yeah.
He is a full blown midget. Like I don't know. Is that the right word? Little person. He's an actual.
He's a little person.
But he keeps it like people don't know he's a little person until they see him, and then like, that guy's a little person. But he's a little person.
Like he could have been in Lord of the Rings and living in one of the Hobbit houses.
Yeah, but you would never guess that watching that show. You think, oh, maybe he's a little short, but he's like so short. It's like, holy fuck.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, and Ari Emanuel, or the guy that plays Ari, what's his name? Is super short too.
Yeah, what is his
I
name?
wonder what...
Jeremy
Jeremy
Piven.
Piven. Yep.
Yeah. Like that
So
dude.
it's weird. Like, I wonder what kind of like malnutrition all these actors have.
I know.
Like, were they not breastfed or something? Or like, I
Not
don't
long
get
enough.
it. Like,
Well, it's crazy too. I just saw that short, the Kevin Connolly guy that comes up to your belly button from Entourage directed a movie with John Travolta and it's about Gotti, and John Travolta plays Gotti. John
Really?
Gotti.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of John Travolta? I thought he did a good job in that OJ series.
Yeah, I love that series.
Yeah.
That was good. He did
He
good.
was, I mean, yeah, he was good. I love the series was really, really good.
Have you seen Saturday Night Fever recently?
No, I don't think I've seen it at all, ever.
Oh my god. Okay, first of all, you got to watch it. Like, what a fucking mind fuck that movie is. It's so wrong on every fucking level.
Just coke everywhere.
There's like 3 rapes that people laugh off.
What?
In the movie? Yeah, like, it's so offensive on every core level. Oh, and my favorite is I was watching it on Canada, and the way we censor TV is hilarious. Because there's a scene when they're walking across the Brooklyn Bridge, and Travolta goes, "You know that Gina's a goddamn cunt." And so they censored it for CBC after late night, and this is, you can't take the Lord's name in vain, right? So on television to this fucking day, so it comes across and goes, "You know that Gina, she's a beep beep cunt."
A beep beep. They say
cunt.
They censored goddamn and left cunt.
Yeah, that's so funny. I know we've talked about that on the show before. How hilarious it is that cunt is like one of the worst words you can say over here in the United States, but over in like England and whatnot, it's one of the most common words. People say it all the time. Say it in church.
Oh yeah, you're right, good cunt, mate. Mom's being a cunt today. Like, yeah, I've heard stuff like that. Like, it's like, whoa. Yeah, that would cause a cop to pull you over. Like, that kind.
Yeah,
crazy.
You know who demystified the word a little bit though is Larry David, because I noticed there's a season where he said it a ton in his show.
Really? Yeah, but
on Curbed.
Yeah, but that was. Yeah. I mean, the word cunt hasn't. This is a fairly recent thing that it's become so taboo to say the word cunt over here. What, maybe the last decade?
Yeah, probably.
Realistically, is when people, started getting in an uproar whenever you said the word cunt. I don't know what started it all off.
Well, what do you think would get you in more trouble if you said cunt, or if you said something like retard, like in a negative way? I'm not using it in a bad. I'm using it as an example, but you know what I mean. Like that would be. I think you'd get more in trouble for using the R word than you would.
I don't know. I think cunt, especially if you called somebody a cunt, especially if you called a woman a cunt to her face, there's going to be immediate repercussions to that action. Well,
I think you wouldn't casually use it unless it was deserving of the time. I don't think you just throw that out.
No.
Sometimes if you're just saying, Gina was being a cunt the other day.
Yeah, well, apparently she was being a goddamn cunt. You actually listened to the thing. And I think what Gina did, though, by the way, in the movie was I was upset because she was raped.
Okay.
And I shouldn't be laughing at this.
So Gina was being a cunt because she got raped?
Oh, the movie, you got to watch the movie. It's so wrong on every level. Like my value system, my modern progressive male value system, is thrown in a fucking blender watching this movie that was a fucking smash hit in '79. You're like, that's how far we come. Thank God.
Thank goodness. Crazy.
It is. There's so many movies where you watch them now. You're like, this can't be remade.
Yeah, that's true. You watch some of those old movies. You're like, wow, there's no way that would.
Soul Man. Do you remember Soul Man?
Is that with
C. Thomas Howell in blackface to get a fucking scholarship to Harvard?
Remember when?
This is in the 90s.
Was that 90s?
Yeah.
Wow.
86.
Okay.
Is it 86? Well, close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta stop correcting me, man.
There's so
Sorry.
many things.
I look up everything.
I'm not even online checking stuff. I'm using the best memory.
Well, that's what's better is that you're super close to pretty much everything, and you're just winging it.
Remember when
I've been about 4 years off of everything. Actually, I'm 4 off of everything, so everything I do, I'm going to now adjust by 4.
Yeah, just adjust
by 4. I
by
don't know whether to go up or down, so I'll have to make a choice.
Or you could go by 2.
I got this thing I pulled up here. That's speaking of the how times have changed. There's this list here of super common things that millennials will have to explain to their kids one day.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
Payphones.
The first one is calling movie phone. Remember that shit?
Oh, fuck. Yeah, it was so frustrating. It never got it right.
And it was the best, like, the best way to describe it is Seinfeld when Kramer is like, why don't you tell me the name of the movie you'd like to see?
One of the best scenes of Seinfeld.
Oh, so great.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
How about, okay, number 2 here. Reading TV Guide to check on television showtimes.
Oh, yes.
I barely remember that, to be honest with
Guide?
you, but I know what it is. There was a thing in the newspaper where they
it came with the paper.
Yeah, because you didn't have...
How about this one? Here's one I bet might not be listed there, but I was thinking about this the other day because I think it plays into how kids behave and interact with each other. When I was a kid and I liked a girl in class, I'd have to call her house, and one of her parents would answer the phone, and I'd have to ask them if I could talk to their daughter.
Oh, that's the worst.
And that was like the most. I'd have to build up the courage. I'd have to build up the hello, Mrs. Beauregard. Could I speak to Lindsay, please? And then like, who's this? And this is Peter from class. And you'd get interrogated, and you have to be polite. And they go, okay, Lindsay, there's a boy from class. And then you talk, but that was like a thing you'd have to do. And you'd have to learn some interpersonal skills in order to make that happen. It's fucking fascinating now.
True.
Kids just text the girl now, hey, nice vagina.
Right?
I don't know what kids say.
Well, and then you're the girl.
They're saying that.
Right? And you're the girl getting the phone call, and maybe your parents only had like one phone in their house and it was like in the kitchen, and everyone's sitting around watching you talk on the phone. And you're just like, can you go away?
Hopefully you have one of those wall mount phones that has like a 40-foot cord on it, so you can go into the other room.
Go into the bathroom.
That's so true. And somebody pick up the other line. Like that never happens anymore. Nobody ever picks up the other line on a phone now.
No. I remember my parents used to take the phone off the hook. Like they had a phone. Like I think I had a phone in my room. I didn't have my own line or anything. I wasn't spoiled.
Oh, okay, you fancy Francie.
We didn't have a phone in your room? We didn't even have call waiting because my dad's like, why the hell would I tell someone to hold on that I'm talking to, having a conversation with, to see who else wants to talk to me? He's like, I'm not getting that shit. So it's like, okay, fine. And then he ended up getting it like senior year of high school, I think, because it was just all I did was talk on the phone. But they used to take the phone off the hook at like 10 o'clock every night, and I used to like sneak in their room and like unplug their phone so I could go back downstairs and talk on the phone. Like that doesn't happen anymore.
Great.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, at night when I go to bed, like I turn my ringer off on my phone. So if somebody calls, somebody's dying, they're not going to get a hold of me. I won't find out they're dead till the next morning.
Well, yeah.
That's best. It's best to find out about death in the morning.
Yeah.
You're not
Start the day out with death.
Yeah. How about this? Speaking of phones, phone book. When's the last time you looked up anything in a phone book?
Hotel rooms. Still do it when I travel. Still the easiest way to find a pizza.
Not even.
It's getting to the point where Just Eat's better, but Just Eat always has a focus group of prepaid. It's not the best restaurants. I always still find the best restaurants I can figure out through the phone book.
I just go on Google and I type in pizza, and then
works well for me.
It finishes the sentence for me. All I have to put in is pizza, and it'll add near me.
But I still think that I honestly I get a better vibe for the quality of the pizza by the ad that the pizza place takes out in the yellow pages.
You're sentimentalist.
I'm old school that way.
I like that.
Yeah.
You like the nostalgia. Gotta keep
pretty proud of myself there.
Who makes
What's
phone
weird
books?
is how we look at things that millennials won't understand, but the way our parents look at things that we didn't understand.
Yeah, true.
Like
true.
Like having a phone in the house, or having like more than one phone. Like my dad would tell us, everything seemed like a bit of a lie. Like when the phone rang, we'd run upstairs and put on a dress shirt and a jacket. Before he answered it, Seriously? Like, it was a big deal.
Oh, that's amazing.
And you answer the phone, Johansson residence.
The whole family. Or they dress up to travel. Like if they were going out someplace on nobody dresses up for anything now.
Yeah.
So, like they dress up to go on a plane. Like they put on their best outfit to go out to fly someplace. That was a big deal.
That's great,
it's so
though.
weird. I remember my mom's from Germany, so I had they're all both gone now, but I had an Oma and Opa that lived over there. And I remember when we'd go to visit, my Oma would answer the phone. Their last name was Herb, but in German you pronounced it app. So they'd answer the phone, she'd go, "Hey, app," and it was basically like Mr. Herb, like Mr. Herb's house. And I always thought that was so weird. I'm like, why don't you just say hi or hello or whatever? But I guess that's the way you just do it. So then I used to love answering the phone when I was over there because I thought it was super cool. Just be like, "Hey, app," and then they'd start talking, and I'm like, Darmstadt. It's about 45 minutes south of Frankfurt.
Oh, I'm not too far from there, really.
Yeah.
Huh. Right now I'm in Mirabel.
Okay.
In the French Alps, right by the border of Switzerland. So.
Okay. Yeah, Heidelberg is kind of close to there.
Yeah.
I remember going there as a kid too, but yeah. I've never been to the French Alps.
Such a small world. It's gorgeous up here. I feel like I'm playing Breath of the Wild on Nintendo Switch, walking around with all the peaks and everything, you know?
Yeah. That's awesome.
Although I wish I had a glider like he does in that video game. Like, so you could just jump off of shit and glide everywhere. That'd be pretty sweet.
That would be sweet. Yeah. I think that I would probably shit my pants if I did it in real life, but it sounds like a good idea.
You know what? You wouldn't shit your pants if you were here. You know why? Because there's so much fucking cheese that your colon's plugged the entire time you're in France. It's almost like this is the place to do daring activities because you never have to worry about shitting your pants.
That's perfect.
I bet during the French shooting, like everybody's, "Oh man, did you shit your pants?" Like, well, no, I was in France. I was scared, but my shit was blocked by blocks of cheese that I'd consumed for the days prior to it. But
so just cheese for days.
Nobody shits your pants in France.
That's so funny. How about, what are some of the other, like, when you obviously knew you were going there, were there any things that you were super pumped to eat? Like that, like a French thing? Like, I would love to get a croissant, like an actual croissant in France. I would love that.
Oh, see, I'm not a big carbs person, and I've had the thing about the croissants is that they're very buttery and they're very fresh here. Like, their boulangeries produce products like everything's fresh. You don't get anything in a package like sealed plastic or anything like that. They produce what they eat for the day every day, and when they run out, they run out.
Yep.
So you're out of bread. You're out of bread. Go fuck yourself. Get here earlier tonight.
Like, and smaller refrigerators too. Like, they don't have Sam's Club or like Costco where they buy a month's worth of shit. People do not buy a
lot of stuff at once here.
Right.
And all the shops are neighborhood, but they also have the weirdest hours. Like, the shops here are closed from 1 in the afternoon till 5. And then after 5, they're open from 5 till 7.
That's so random.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just it's not about making a living. It's about them living,
right?
And also providing a service. Like, it's just a different mentality to the consumer is always the right sort of thing that we are brainwashed with in North America. You know?
Right.
I mean, it's good and bad.
Like, I'm gonna do my shit, but you can come buy my shit whenever it works for me.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, your bad planning is not my problem.
Exactly.
So you lived in England for a number of years, right?
Like 8 years, I think. 7 years, 8 years, something like that. Sure.
Did you ever try? This is something I heard.
Acid?
Yes. Did you ever do acid in England?
Acid.
Because that's supposed to be the best place to do acid.
Glastonbury, yeah.
There's this sandwich I heard about that's supposed to be pretty commonplace over in England. A toast sandwich. Have you ever had a toast sandwich?
You mean toasties?
Is that what they call them?
Yeah, just a toasty. That's just a term they use. It's not just toast sandwich. It's a toasty, which is it's just a toasted sandwich. They call them toasties.
Well, it's two thin slices of bread with the filling is a thin slice of buttered toast. So just 2 regular pieces of bread with toast in the middle, buttered toast in between.
I don't know if that's real.
No,
I'm hestant to believe that. I don't think.
Sir, it is on Wikipedia, sir. That means it is official. Yes. Dates back to
I'll ask my mates here if that's real.
It dates back to 1861. Sometimes you add salt.
Okay, well, come on, dude. This isn't 1861, all right? I mean, I could ask you questions. Is it true that they, keep blacks out of the voting polls in the United States?
They have separate water fountains.
When I found out about this sandwich, I tried one. I made one myself, and it was actually pretty damn good. Surprisingly, it sounds very bland. It's pretty damn good.
What about
butter was a big sign of wealth back then. You remember, like that was a term in Ireland and in England, like how thick you put butter on your bread was a sign to everybody else how wealthy you were. Like if rappers were around in the 1860s, they'd be songs about fucking thick butter, bro. You know?
Yeah. Little butter. That's what the name.
Yeah,
would be.
little. That'd be a guy.
Little butter. What about
quarter cup of
parsley
bean,
liquor? You know? There's a dish called pie and mash with parsley liquor, and it just looks like a mint green kind of gravy.
What's liquor?
Parsley liquor, it's called.
What's parsley liquor?
I have no idea. It's pie and mash with
parsley
liquor.
They've got a lot of weird named foods. Like there's foods called, faggots, or it's a type of food. It's a little shellfish that they eat on the coast.
And they call them faggots.
They're called faggots, cockles, brains, jelly deals.
Yeah, jelly deals. I'm seeing that.
Yeah,
really? So
there's some really fucking, and they're fish and chips that everybody goes gaga for.
Yeah.
They leave the fucking skin on the fish.
Gross.
I've seen that. It looks nasty. Why would they do that?
And I'm like, because they're gross. They're wrong. That's what they are. And they don't know they're wrong.
Good. Ugh.
Yeah. You don't see a lot of that anymore. But that's traditional East London food. The jelly deals, and then the pie. The mushy peas, which I also not a fan of.
Yeah. Here's the faggots. I see those.
See
Spotted dick is a British pudding made with suet.
Oh, that's actually really good.
Is it good?
It looks not good at all. What is it?
It's it's made with suet and dried fruit. It's basically kind of like a fruit cake, I would think, maybe.
Yeah, but it's a little bit more. It's generally got some liquidy like treacle in it.
Okay.
Too. Like treacle's what they. I don't know. It's like a weird dark syrup molasses that they put as sweetener on their desserts.
Huh?
You know,
it is.
And they don't have
pudding
maple syrup. They have golden syrup.
Golden syrup.
It is referred to as pudding, not desserts. Thank you.
Yes, exactly. Sorry, thank you. If you're having pudding, yeah, spotted dick is a pudding, so it's actually a cake, kind of. Yeah, fucking weird. Oh, yeah. I'm kind of glad they don't control the world anymore.
You know what? I would take the metric system. Would love to have the metric system over here.
They don't use the metric system in fucking England. They use it in Europe. In England, there's still miles and their weight system. Oh my god, they weigh people in stones.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not shitting you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how much do I weigh? You're like 12 stone. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
That's
like,
oversimplifying.
Stone is.
That's oversimplifying shit. They're like, oh, we need an increment for every 17.8 pounds. That's a stone.
Is that what a stone is? 17.8 pounds?
I was just throwing out a number.
I'm like,
Frizzy's looking it up.
If that's true. Fuck.
For like a really big stone, it's 14 pounds.
Oh, I was close.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I lost a little weight just now. Thank you. I think I lost about 1/6 of
That's
what I was
so
weighing.
weird. Huh. It's interesting though.
Good.
But they use it in Australia and Ireland too.
Yeah, Australia is just England, just so you understand. Their culture is England. They're red-faced, angry, slightly, more prone to skin cancer British people. They never invented their own culture. New Zealand has its own culture, but Australia is just English.
Just English with kangaroos.
And they love each other so much.
Do they?
That's common.
The British fawn over living in Australia, and the Australians miss the qualities of England, so they're just in love with each other. I hate that bullshit,
Well, like
because I'm jealous.
Canada's basically kind of adopted American culture for the most part. I know there's still a lot of I know there's still a lot of like French culture that's kind of still clinging on and whatnot. And you guys still rock the kilometers and whatnot. You're logical there.
We do use the metric system.
Yeah,
I mean we did run away with socialism before. We're not even socialists, but we dabbled in it a little more than we do.
It really does seem like Canada's kind of got it figured out better than most other countries out there. I mean,
that makes me sad if that's true, because If this is, I mean, it's a good country, but fuck, we're boring people.
That's
Jesus.
But that's a good thing. That's the reason you guys just quietly are one of the top countries, and the people just like, oh yeah, Canada, that's a country, I forgot about them. You just kind of stay off to the side and do your own thing, stay out of all the other bullshit, and you just like live in a great, easy life.
We're the student in the world class that everybody forgot about, and you're the prom king. But you're like 50 years later and you put on a lot of weight. We kind of want to get a divorce. And you're a bit abusive.
And we say cunt a lot.
But you get to be the next door neighbor to the craziness that goes on in the U.S. And you get to just kind of pick and choose the good parts that you want to adapt into the Canadian culture. You're like, oh, that's cool about America. We're definitely not doing that. But we'll take this. Fuck that. They fucked up there. Take a little bit of this.
Yeah,
and just kind of stay out of everyone's
cherry
hair.
pick all the best stuff.
No,
if we cherry pick the best stuff, it'd be okay. But we take the bad stuff too. Like, people in Canada are all sitting around watching the Kardashians, and
yeah. Well, that's
all the blowing up of sports culture being the most omnipresent sort of distraction that our society's ever experienced, and now turning politics into another form of entertainment that has no actual power. We've got all these sort of aspects that are bleeding over into our culture as well, and I'm not even necessarily sure if you invented those things. I think the Brits probably came up with a lot of it too and are responsible for it. It's just the U.S., much like everything, perfected them to a level of consumerist appeal and acceptance that the rest of the world sort of bought into the power of their culture as when they used it. But a lot of the ideas are originally British. Just fucking U.S. is really good at everything they do, even the bad stuff.
It's amazing how some basically medieval shit has hung on for so long. Cultural ideals, and it's amazing how some things hang on. Things like religions and the way that politics is run, and just the way that a lot of culture has kind of developed over the years. It's just so many things just kind of hang on. Weird things. And you're like, how is that still around?
We haven't needed to really reproduce for a while. We haven't needed more people.
Yes.
But we hung on to the ideas of gay being bad, for so long. Mm-hmm. You'd think that any logical group of people would go, who gives a fuck who loves who?
Exactly.
Right.
And it's surprising that kind of thing made people apoplectic 20 years ago. They would lose their minds.
Go crazy over it.
Usually, the only people who have a problem with gays is religion based. Usually, it's religion based or just complete. The environment they grew up in. They grew up in a fucking trailer house.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, let's look at China. Here's a country that's atheist. All right, and they've got nearly 100 million more men than women in China right now. Uh-huh. And being gay is against the law. Now, what's fascinating about this is if any country should celebrate being gay, it's fucking China. I mean, you've got a population problem. They should have the best gay bars in the world with the biggest gay pride parade.
Yeah.
Every gay pride parade in the world should be sponsored by fucking China because it's the perfect solution for what they're looking for. You're going to have this disillusioned, lonely 100 million men that aren't allowed to be gay. Just let gay people be gay and let whatever, but and they're atheists, so it's not necessarily just a religious thing.
That's so weird because there's so many cultures where
Russia too. Russia is very anti-gay, and there's predominantly atheist.
Yeah, well, you just see in so many cultures though where being gay is considered a sin or an abomination, in whether it's religion based or not. But there's still rampant homosexuality. Yeah. I mean, it's in every single culture, but
but that's not new either. We talk about the ancient Greeks being gay, right?
Yeah.
But
oh my God.
Only but they looked down upon gay people that were adults and practiced gay sex as a passive receiver.
It wasn't even gay sex; it was straight up pedophilia. Back in those days, fucking little boys was just the norm.
Yeah. I wonder. I see how hard everybody has dealing with the films of what's his name? The guy that the one that escaped to France, Polanski, right? Mm-hmm. How people have these sort of moral I think everybody has a bit of a moral quandary sort of addressing the art of Roman Polanski versus the person that creates it. But then imagine the difficulties of having to deal with Socrates' transformational thought, but then going, but he fucked kids.
I know. That's the dilemma.
Gandhi's another one, by the way. Gandhi used to sleep with young girls.
No.
And he wrote about it.
Yeah.
One of the greatest
I've heard that.
celebrators. Yeah.
Okay,
one of the lines in his book is he would sleep next to 11-year-old virgins.
Oh, no.
And
God,
in order to tempt
too.
himself. And he joked, sometimes I would still succumb.
Fuck. Really? Gandhi?
Don't have heroes.
Everybody's got their thing.
He's supposed to be like the best human being we've got. The best one we've ever had. He's supposed to be like the one dude who can do no wrong.
Right?
And even he was fucking little girls. God damn it.
But at no point in his own personal philosophy or belief system did that cross him as an idea that was wrong. Isn't that fucking fascinating? Bigger than the act itself is that he maintained a coexistent philosophy where he didn't see a problem with that. That's how much he discounted the agency of a female in a culture that was male dominated.
Right. Definitely, right? I mean, just looking at it completely open-minded and rationally, even if the 11-year-old is totally like, fuck yeah, let's do this. 11-year-old girl, like, you can't...
She's not going to want to say, let's do this.
No, I'm just saying, even if she did, even if she is totally down, like, you can't fuck an 11-year-old girl if you're an adult man. Like, that. There's no way an 11-year-old girl, no matter what time period it's in, like, that's just too young. They can't.
I know, but it's fucked up, but I got to be honest with you. I almost think it's not worth the mental anguish of rethinking historical experiences in those contexts.
Yeah.
Because we have nothing to learn from it in the true sense. We're evolving into these values. They didn't have an insight. It's like looking to Thomas Jefferson for some insight into racism.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, you seemed like you wanted to free your slaves in fucking France, but not back home, and then you impregnated and raped them. But then you wrote this amazing manifesto on the rights of man.
Are you saying Thomas Jefferson was racist, sir?
See,
I believe Thomas Jefferson. I believe he loved black people.
Humanity of our community.
I believe Thomas Jefferson loved black people. He made love to black people. Mm-hmm. That proves his love for the black race.
Yeah. So I watched this. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say I watched this documentary the other day, and I thought of you after I watched it, because you're a pretty smart guy and you probably already know about this already. But have you ever heard of horseshoe crabs and their blood? Their blue blood.
Oh yeah. See? Yeah, the coagulant material and they're running out of them too.
Isn't that crazy?
It's the plasma aspect that it keeps it from coagulating and transfer, right?
Yeah. Well, they don't have hemoglobin in their blood. So they
because they're aliens. They have alien blood.
They're so old. Their
blood looks like colloidal silver or whatever that.
It's green, isn't it?
It's blue.
It's like a very.
It looks like
it's like a Tar Heel blue almost.
Yeah, it looks like diluted kind of windshield wiper fluid.
Our blood is blue though as well until it's exposed to oxygen.
But it's thin. Like it looks like almost like Gatorade, like blue ice Gatorade.
Is it refreshing?
The iron's what gives us our red colored blood. Because they have copper. They have copper in their blood. We have iron.
It's the hemoglobin when it's the iron when the hemoglobin carries the oxygen molecule. It's what gives it the red color. Without the oxygen molecule, it's not red.
Yeah, they got pennies in their blood.
Yeah, but their blood contains it's called like ambiocytes, and it's kind of similar to the white blood cells that other animals have that defends them from like pathogens and disease. And so they take this. It's called LAL, like I'm looking it up and I don't know how to say it. Limulus ambiocyte lysate, which they can detect bacteria in medical applications. So pretty much every like pharmaceutical or drug that anyone's ever taken has been tested with this LAL. And they sell the blood for it's like $15,000 a quart. and it's a $50 million industry a year.
Yeah, we need to catch us some horseshoe crabs.
Yeah,
crazy.
but they're being poached and decimated on the coast because of this.
Yeah,
and
they
they
are.
need to be managed.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
they're trying and
They're
haven't
never
figured
gonna
out a
go
way
away.
to grow them in captivity yet. So
Well, and they-
How many eggs do they lay? Like 400.
Well, they lay a lot, but-
1,000 eggs at a time.
But when they bleed them, like it takes them
Yeah,
a
that
month
is
for their
kinda-
blood volume to get back up to normal.
And
so
a lot of times they
after-
die, right?
Well, they die because they're taking their blood and then they keep them for like 3 days, and it's like I've seen pictures and it's kind of gross. They're just like all in it's like a weird alien factory.
That shit looks barbaric.
And then they keep them for 3 days, and they say that they're fine, but like 29% of the ones that they harvest to take their blood from die. Once they put them back into the ocean.
That picture you're talking about with them lined up, they're filling like mason jars from each fucking crab,
Yeah.
full of blood. Can you imagine if somebody drained a mason jar worth of blood out of your body? And they're little. They're not nearly as big as us.
Yeah, but they're such cool animals. They have 9 sets of eyeballs, 9 sets of eyes on their shells,
Overachievers.
and their tail, their Teslon is what it's called, has light sensors in it, so they can detect like the moon and what the moon's doing if it's a full moon, and they know
they're aliens.
the tides of the ocean. It's crazy.
Aliens. They came here from the moon, probably.
So I'm decided I'm going to
That's
be
just
a horseshoe
nuts.
crab advocate from now on.
Yeah, you love.
I became an octopus advocate as I've been learning more about octopus.
Octopus are cool
Like
too.
the-
Cuttlefish.
They're so smart. Oh my god! I've also come to the conclusion that a lot of smart things taste good.
Yeah.
Because pigs are really smart and they taste great.
That's
Octopus
true.
taste fucking awesome. And I'm starting to think maybe the Japanese are onto something with dolphins
Oh,
because they're
No.
clearly smart.
they're so smart.
Oh yeah,
So
they're
they
the
might
people of
taste-
the ocean.
Imagine something that tastes better than bacon.
Oh,
Not
And then
possible.
I'm thinking, fuck,
Not
this
possible.
this leads one place. We're going to start eating people. Well, smart people.
smart people
You know, they
only.
can be delicious.
Soylent
Dummies
Green.
don't taste good.
Stephen Hawking's like rib cage just slowly over a fire. Mm.
Yeah.
It's like what's the Japanese beef?
Oh, Kobe,
beef.
That's
Kobe
what all
Bryant.
the fat guys lying on the beach in Thailand remind me of. With
Yeah.
all the girls oiling them for $10 an hour, just massaging them. I'm like, fuck, somebody's going to come over here and eat these fat Germans and stuff like that.
In their speedos.
You think
We're well-marbled
SoylentGreen.com
fat.
is taken?
Yep.
SoylentGreen.com is on sale right now if you want to start a company. Soylent Green, start cooking up people.
Isn't there already a product called Soylent that's on the market that's some sort of protein replacement?
Yeah, there's some kind of Soylent something. Yeah, I can't remember what the
Yeah.
product is, but
I can't. I don't know. I wouldn't mind. I do find it funny though that how they make all these vegan foods that like taste like chicken, but it's corn or whatever.
yeah.
Why not just come out with a whole line that tastes like people? I mean, it is a fictional taste, anyways. But I would buy vegan people. Like, you know, like, doesn't that seem like something that would sell well? Like just on the curiosity market alone, like long pig. What do you mean? Oh, it's human.
Yeah.
It's human flavor.
And would it just
Yeah.
be? Would it be completely innocuous, where it's just human, or would you like break it down? Like, oh, we have these.
I totally break it down. Like this is like well, you'd want leg meat would probably. I don't know. Like when you think about eating something, I think legs, right?
Well,
Yeah.
maybe you'd get exotic because you know, like
Ribs.
how over here in the U.S. we love anything that comes from another country, especially like a cultured place like France or Italy. Be like, you could have a bag of Jack Slink beef jerky that's Asian flavored.
That's
You know, this is an Asian dude.
difficultly, weirdly racist in the strangest way.
Is it?
You know, like this. That's
it-
like the strangest. That's the combination
Really?
of foreign food and foreign people racism. Like
I don't know.
that's tough. Like
I think we're breaking
like,
new ground
can
here.
I really want to eat a black guy. Now, the implications of saying that.
Is that racist? Is that
Is
racist?
that racist or are they delicious?
Nobody's ever approached this subject. Is it racist to want to eat a particular race of long pig?
Exactly because you might love them. Like that is a moral quandary. Wow, I might have to explore this thought in some stage form.
It
I
needs to
like
be
this.
addressed. It needs to be addressed. Yes.
Is it racist? Guys, It is late here. I have got to wrap up. If
That
you
is
don't mind.
yes.
How much fun was this?
I love it.
This
We
was
love
lovely.
having you on, man. It's been over a year since we had you on, and that's been too long. We always have a great
thanks.
time talking with you.
Yeah, it's so hard to get the schedules to mix, but what an absolute pleasure. And yeah, keep in contact, and let's do this again in another year, mofos.
Awesome. All right. Do you want to let us know what you got coming up in the near future, where people can find you?
I got nothing coming up in the near future.
Nothing?
I'm specifically dialing back my career because I'm going to go back to university.
You are? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to take a full course load in psychology and computer science.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Badass.
I'm going to do stand-up on the weekends and stuff like that, but I'm going to focus on my education for the next little while and sort of see if I can take my life's interest to another level.
I love it. You're going to just do some comedy moonlighting.
Huh.
Well, yeah, and even if it doesn't work out, if I find school too hard, then I'll return full-time back to this, but I can't see the disadvantage from trying something new.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
I love it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Well, I had a lovely time, and I wish I had something for people to catch me in, but if not, they can still, look up my old stuff.
Yeah.
Your Netflix special is still on Netflix.
And I just recorded a new special in February. I don't know when that's coming out.
Yes.
So.
Okay. Let us know. Keep us up to date on that.
Absolutely. I will definitely do that.
All right. Thank you, my friends.
Lovely times, guys.
Yes. Thank you. Enjoy your time.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
How does this turn on?
I love that dude. Fuck, he's awesome. Woo.
Woofda.
Okay, we are done with this episode. Get in the chopper. Get down with this episode. Download it. That was Pete Johansen, a.k.a. Pete Johansen.
Depending where you are.
A.k.a. Pete Johansson. A.k.a. Pete Blockchain Johansson. He fucking changes his name on Facebook like all the time.
Yeah, he has multiple identities. That's cool.
Fucking love talking with that guy. He might be my favorite guest we've ever had on. Honestly.
Yeah, he's so much fun.
He might be. He's just fucking great dude. So thank you, Pete.
Yes, Pete. Gracias.
And thank you to our sponsors for this episode.
Comus Watching Comics.
TV show you can find on Amazon Prime.
Video. Seasons 1 through 5 are available now. And they got some new seasons that they're working on too, so look forward to that. So it's just going to keep bringing you episodes.
I will look forward to that.
Yeah, you will.
Also, thank you to our sponsors, Sportsbook Box Office Podcast.
Hosted by Kevin Goatee and Jeffrey Paul.
Two fucking New York joke slingers talking movies and sports.
Yep.
Follow that shit on all the podcast streaming platforms. Subscribe to it. Like it, love it.
Want some more of it?
Yeah.
Do it.
And coming up on the show, we have to look forward to for the month of March. We have the Manners Optional podcast.
Yes, Swapcast.
We did a little Swapcast type thing with one of the hosts.
Local Minnesotan podcast.
Yes, fine. We got
super smart about beer.
And then we have Corey Adam.
Yes.
Minnesota comedian Corey Adam coming back to the show. We fucking love that dude. He's a good friend of ours. He's a very popular dude in the Minnesota comedy scene. And he's got a new album that just dropped. Yes. That hit #1 on iTunes. His new album, Jokes. The second album to his first album, No Jokes.
It's so perfect.
This one actually has jokes.
It's jokey.
So, that shit hit #1 on fucking iTunes right after it dropped. So, wow.
Yeah, congrats to him.
And we've listened to it. It's fucking hilarious. So we're gonna talk about that. And Corey's always a good time. Fucking love talking to that dude.
Yeah,
He's
and
hilarious.
go buy that shit now too.
Yeah, do it. Go on
Find
iTunes
it on
and buy that
iTunes.
shit.
Buy it.
Keep it at number 1. And also, Kevin Goatee, the motherfucking CEO, is gonna come back on the show.
Oh shit!
And we're talking about all kinds of shit. I'm sure we're gonna do some sports talking.
Yeah, we're bantering about football, talking.
We don't get to talk
shit,
sports
so.
enough on this show because we know a lot of people don't want to listen to sports talk. So, but we love fucking sports, especially football, and any chance we get to, we're gonna fucking do it. So
yeah. Plus, he's our boss, so we kind of have to listen to what he says.
yeah. All right. Thank you so much. We're gonna play this fucking episode out with a song by Rick Royer.
Rick Royer!
Called This Is Comedy.
Sweet.
Alright, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening. See ya. Bye.
Later, fuckers.
It's okay, I'll take the laugh.